All right, back in the saddle this morning and feeling good. Welcome to the Aired Out Podcast. I'm JD Green. You got us anywhere you're getting your podcasts. Any of your favorite apps. Spotify, just one of several that we're on for the audio version. But thanks to our YouTubers for tuning in this morning. Our Facebookers, thanks for following, liking, sharing. 51 days to Labor Day weekend. Think about that. July 9th it is, and a very happy Wednesday. Sweethearts and Heroes Day today. Thanks for checking out the web, by the way, if you haven't yet. airedoutVT.com. Woodland Studios has created this amazing website. They've done such a great job. And we appreciate them so much. One of our presenting sponsors. Road construction reports, they're everywhere. I'm not sure why, but they've already decided to... No, I'm not an engineer, so I really don't know why, but they've already decided to cut up 302 halfway down the Orange Heights. Something's going on. I don't know what it is, but just exercise some caution in there. Today we got a cloudy day. Had a foggy ride in this morning. Well, at least the bottom half of it. Lower 80s today with clouds, maybe an isolated shower. Weather should be great at Courier Park for the farmers market. Food trucks and live music this afternoon and evening. Tonight, mid-60s, mostly cloudy. Tomorrow, partly cloudy. Occasional showers during the night. Hopefully that's not going to interfere with Thunder Road. I'll watch it carefully for you. Friday, both sun and clouds, a stray shower or thunderstorm is possible. Mid-80s. Mountaineers should be good to go Friday night. There's no word of rain Friday night, just partly cloudy. So that's good news. Birthdays today. Tracy Haynes, Gwen LeCount, Marilyn Deo, Greg Trulson, Tina Mayhew, Josh Farrington, Gloria Lamore. She's living the good life down there with Ed. Trevor Rossi, Jocelyn Marie. Let's see, who else do we have? Jessie Ann, Topher. Not sure the last name here. I'm going to get it right. I promise you I will. Nick Garand, and I'll post it up later today. Kathy Hudson, Melissa Gerard, and Eric LaFleche. Happy birthday to you. Deb Phillips with The World. Deb, good morning.
Good morning, JD.
It is Wednesday. I love chatting with you on Wednesdays. What do we look for in the paper? Things are heating up literally and figuratively here in Vermont. What do you have for us today in the paper?
Well, just want to remind people about Do Good Fest is this Saturday at National Life in Montpelier. Looks like we might have some nice weather for Saturday, so that would be wonderful. And we also, I hope everybody's had a chance to pick up a copy of the Summer Explorer magazine. It's loaded with fun things to do and lots of interesting articles. We also, if you need plumbing, heating, electrical work done, how about kitchen and bath remodeling or carpet and upholstery cleaning? The World Service Directory has local professionals to help you with repairs, improvements, and downsizing.
Well said, right there, Deb. How's Gary doing? How are you guys doing with the transition over there into the Times Argus building?
We are busy, definitely busy. Yeah, lots of stuff. I have more deadlines now than I ever had.
I'm sure. Listen, we always not only appreciate your partnership with us, your sponsorship with us at the World, but also your valued time on a Wednesday to hop on and just give us a little teaser on what to expect in the paper, which is I always look forward to reading the newspaper on Wednesdays, Deb, and I look forward to Chris stopping by with my copy here momentarily.
Okay, he's probably loading up now. So
I'm sure. I read a report that 7%, only 7% of Americans enjoy the humidity. Not sure if Chris is going to be one of them, but anyway.
Oh, I'm not either, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Hey, thank you ever so much Deb.
All right. Thank you, JD.
And our best
Have
to
a good day.
you're very welcome, and a best wishes to Gary too. Always enjoy chatting with him. This handsome guy who is joining me from where now, Brian? Tell me exactly where you are, buddy. Are you down are you down south? Where are you?
No, I'm in up in St. Albans right now.
Oh, there we
Yeah.
go. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you, JD?
Brian McKeon. Or how do you say your last name, anyways? McKeon.
McKeon.
Yeah, Sweethearts and Heroes. You are the what now? What's your official title? Are you the business guy? Are you pushing the papers? Or what do you do with Sweethearts and Heroes?
The best two words I can think of are business operations and projects. Basically, anything that we're really doing, I have some part to play in. Whether I'm not out in the field,
Yeah.
but in terms of scheduling, in terms of online content, in terms of planning, like in terms of managing the finances, like I am really the one behind the scenes, like keeping those kind of things moving, just like normal business functions with Tom. Um, but usually that's kind of the business operations, but projects wise, any kind of service we really do, like I'm usually involved in one way or another. It depends, varying. But yeah, I'm always busy.
The last time you were here sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
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 I'm I am so struck by you guys and everything that you do. This started out, and I think it was Rick that was telling me that when this thing started out, it was just like Rick and Tom just throwing some gas in the car and visiting some schools and some organizations to try to push the good word of not only what Sweethearts and Heroes is, but just that there's some real good things to celebrate. And
Yeah.
man, these guys are amazing. And now look at this. You got a team of however many. I've lost track. There's got to be at least 9 or 10 of you, I'm guessing.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I think we have people that come in and out. Like Jen this year she was working with us full time. But now she's like transitioning to something else, but still part of our work. So we have a lot of different people that help us with different things, assist us with larger parts of our stuff. And then we have some core central people that are kind of just always doing it. But yeah, it's massive, man. It's a crazy world we're in, and it's an awesome ride we get to be on in Sweethearts and Heroes, because to me, like, this is just my lifestyle. Like,
Yeah.
this is just what matters, man. Like, everything, my entire life is about this and about getting this message out and yeah, reaching as many people as we can with it.
You're a smart dude, and listen, I don't want to speak for you, Brian, but you went to college. You got a bachelor's degree in paralegal studies.
Yeah.
No offense to the whole, paralegal thing, but it's like,
Oh, dude, totally. Like, I
Please.
when I went to college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Yeah, right.
And this paralegal stuff had a lot of reading and writing, which is something I'm really into. I happen to be pretty decent at. So I kind of jumped into that. But yeah, after about 2-3 years, especially after I did an internship over a summer with a district judge, and yeah, I realized, like, it gets bogged down in legalese. Like, it's around technicalities, and why you would think you would like to think that, like, and there are obviously good the legal system does what it can in terms of and the people that are part of it.
Sure.
But it's very you have to play within very strict rules and things in terms of doing what you think is right, and you're prohibited a lot of times
Yeah.
in that way, I feel like. But and at the same time, yeah, reading legal stuff is very very boring.
Yeah, and listen, and the whole legal thing, like you said, very important. However, um, what you're doing with your life is you're having like real direct impact
Mm,
on our youth, which is, come on, man, that's the stem of it. That's the root of it right there.
for sure, that's the foundation. I mean, and especially the early adolescence years, they're just so formative. Like like 2 to 5 is a big forming time, but around that when they're getting into that adolescence age, those early teen years, like that's really where what they learn in those periods of times and what they're exposed to is really going to maybe not dictate their entire, but it plays a big role. And I think there's a lot of things that happen in that age range that you carry with you into adulthood, and those are the things you kind of have to, I think, overcome, or that can guide you in a lot of ways. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I just asked Loudon this, and I don't know. I think he may have let the air out of my tires later in the morning. But I'll ask you the same thing. And Loudon, by the way, another one of you guys that just absolutely kicks ass.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Him and Abby crush it all the
oh
time,
my
man,
God,
with our media. It's unbelievable.
7 days a week, those two.
Oh yeah.
But I asked him something. I want to ask you the same question. How old are you?
29. I think about 29 and a half.
Are you
turned.
are you a dad?
No, not yet. Not
All right,
yet.
so here we got two
My
on the.
brother Joe just had his daughter born this morning at like 12:56.
Come on, are you
Yeah, I know, it's
serious?
crazy. Yeah.
Woohoo!
His second kid, yeah.
That's awesome, dude. But
Yeah, it is.
so you're an uncle.
I'm an uncle, yeah,
All right.
twice uncle now. This
So-
is his second one.
What kind of like this everything that you're doing with Sweethearts and Heroes? You must have this and presumably maybe you'll be a dad someday. You must have this mindset of like, man, I am like learning some real things here that I can not only teach my nephew, but also maybe my own kids someday.
Sweethearts and Heroes I started this work about 6 years ago with Tom, almost 7 years. And when I got into it, I was just in between jobs. It was actually right after I graduated. I was doing summer jobs. And he knew I was into writing, and so he wanted me to help write him this book, this play, and that's how I kind of got into it. And for the first 3 to 4 years, like I just slowly added to it. Just he slowly added to my plate and responsibilities that I did, but it was really a very part-time thing for me. And it was really back in 2023 when I went full time that I couldn't believe that I got to do this work, because it is so life-changing for me. Like, this is just why I believe in it so much, because changed my entire life. Like, I am not the person I was 3 years ago, let alone 5 years ago, like, and let alone a year ago. It's a constantly evolving thing that we do, because again talking about the human things, and it's never ending to that journey in discovering who you are, who other people are, in terms of how we're all connected as well. It's
And the impacts
changed
you
my
have
life
on
entirely.
and the impacts you have on others, specifically kids.
Yeah, and it's all about that. It's all about relationships. Like, that's our existence. Like, nothing can exist without being in relation to something else. And human beings are the same way. And we're pack animals. We need human acceptance. That's like perhaps the number one greatest need a human has, outside of your food, shelter, water, safety. Like, the most important psychological need, and perhaps even a foundational biological need, is human acceptance. And then you got significance as well, which your meaning, your purpose in life.
You didn't really have a whole hell of a lot of time to test the waters. You jumped in head first and went on the road with Sweethearts and Heroes for half a year, my man.
Yeah.
That's a commitment, right? Like straight off.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it was certainly that got me. It must have hit something where I'm like, something's going on here, because that's just what I've pursued ever since, to varying degrees. But yeah, it started out with that, and it kind of started with our 13 Pillows book. That these were just a bunch of lessons that, I don't know if you can see, or
Yeah, yeah.
but
I've got it. I've got it.
yeah, and so that's kind of where it started for me, were these lessons, and they were all lessons that Tom had collected from teachers, from students over, I think, 10, 12 years at that point. He'd probably been doing it, and that's kind of where it started for me. And they're very they're lessons for teachers, but they're also lessons for students, but they're lessons for all of us. And that's, I think, what grabbed my attention was these lessons that we're trying to share, this message that we're trying to share. It's for everyone. It is for just becoming a better person and helping others.
Did
That's like the root of it.
did you think you would be penning a book?
No. I grew up, and I wanted, probably about my mid-teens. I wanted to be a writer. I was homeschooled, so my last 2-3 years of high school, literally, I just freaking wrote.
Yeah.
I finished a book which was horrible. It was the first thing I ever finished. But yeah, man, I always wanted to write, and then now it's like I don't even write creatively anymore for myself, really, because I mean, all I do is really read and write. But dude, I get to write all day about these things, and it's almost like a new realm of philosophy, of whatever, like, that we're getting into. It's like the next step. It's like we're taking all of these things from all of this foundational psychological stuff that we've started to develop in these ancient wisdom things. It's like we're applying it. Like, that's what Sweet's Near is about. It's about taking it and applying it.
Yeah.
Because if you, again, action, we say ACE, action changes everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell for folks that may not be familiar with 13 Pillows. Explain, please, because I see this and I'm like, I've heard 13 pillars, but what's this all about?
Yeah. So the 13 pillows versus pillars concept is, we got a lot. They're kind of like these foundational principles or pillars, but we call them the pillows, due to what's involved in the book, is called what's called the pillow test. We might have touched on it last time, where it's you lay your head down on the pillow at night and you ask yourself, I wish I had, or I'm glad I did. And if you can say I'm glad I did more than I wish I had, it's been a pretty successful day.
Wow.
So that's where the pillow concept comes from. The A being changed from the effective to affective. We kind of got that from New York State. They kind of have a teacher effective test or something.
Yes.
But we changed it to the affective because that comes from Benjamin Bloom's taxonomy, the affective domain. There's the psychomotor, the affective, and
I thought it was a typo when I saw it, man.
Yeah. A lot of people are like, did you misspell that?
I think it was Leon that corrected me.
But yeah, it's a what it was is it was a collection of lessons, and we originally were going to write it more of a not self-help style, but more of a we were going to talk about the real stories that are all woven into this. But we know the power of story. The power of stories is just amazing.
Sure.
And it's how we learn. I mean, that's why we're just so consumed with, I think, entertainment today, is because story just grabs us. And so we decided to take these lessons and these stories, these real stories, and just craft a fictional story, what we like to call a fictional allegory, with all of these lessons and these people that that Tom and Rick have encountered throughout the years, like, that are embedded in there. And Tom, again, could point to any page in that book, tell you the real story, who it was. But yeah, it's about an educator who's lost a student to his own hands, and he feels hopeless, and he wants to quit. And then we call it the Custodian Chronicles, because it's about a janitor who kind of steps out of the shadows. He's an old retired educator, and he kind of just takes this phys ed teacher under his wing to change the culture of the school, and talk about these difficult things, and to help kids connect and help each other. And yeah.
I love this real conversation. The thing about Tom, and you kind of said this earlier, is that this guy doesn't experience anything without walking away with something permanently registering in his mind,
Mm.
where he's grabbing a pen or a pencil and writing it down and saying, I'm going to incorporate this new experience. When every time he walks into a school, there is nothing cookie cutter about any of this. He's surprised all the time. He's always learning. And he'll say that has got to make it either into the next presentation or into the next book or something. My only criticism is there's a lot of acronyms.
Yes, we are very heavy on the acronyms.
Tom acronyms.
Yeah, we do got a lot of those, and yeah, it's infected my mind too. I always am looking for acronyms and stuff. But
I know. But they're like real tools, man. They're like things where, not to sound cheesy here, but write that acronym down scribble it on a receipt or a napkin or something, and just keep that fresh. Pin it on the dashboard of your car and go about your life with that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And there's so many things I could say here, but yeah, like hope, hold on, possibilities exist. Like that is just such an important one to us. Truly, perhaps it's the most important. But you're right. The work is always evolving, which is what is, I think, so different about what we do. Like somebody will have an idea, and want to make it a reality, and they can, and they do, but it's like human nature. We're always changing. And I feel like if we aren't changing, I feel like we get stagnant, and we start really kind of dying on the inside if we're not trying to constantly improve ourselves. And it applies to the same message. It applies to our message. And it's one of the more frustrating and stressful things about our work is that it is constantly evolving as we discover these new things about being human.
Sure.
It's definitely one of the tougher things, is constantly every day Tom has new ideas, and they're all amazing, and they're all applicable, and it's just like,
sure,
we just run out of time, we run out of manpower, we run out of energy. But it's like we are always evolving, we are always adapting, and we are always adding to what we know will work. And we drop things here and there as we come up with better ideas and better options and better things. But yeah, man, it's always changing, it's always evolving. And I think that's just one of the things that truly separates the work that we do. Not even like the message, like everybody and other people can have the same message, like hope and stuff, but the work that we do is about figuring out how to make, always incrementally improving it, always. Because it can always be improved.
Yeah, sure. And gosh, it seems like, especially over the last year, I've been talking more about the word hope than ever before. And then I met you guys.
Infect your life, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and then I met you guys, and that was like pow. And then I met Rick, and that was like the uppercut that just took me right out. I think about Rick all the time. Yeah. I know he has no idea how often I think about him, but the impacts that he's had just on me have been massive. I mean, and Rick's going to come back on the air soon. He's been on the air a couple of times here. But you talk about a guy who had, let's just say it like it is, okay, really not a whole hell of a lot of reasons to stick around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, covered in
No, it's
covered in diesel fuel, burning alive, broken legs. Um,
yeah, it's
I
it's a
just
crazy thing to think about in terms of like, we talk all the time about the com- the Rick the physical things that have happened to him, are kind of also the things that we kind of point to are like happening on the inside with people psychologically, socially, emotionally.
yeah,
And so he doesn't like to compare at all, like, his states of hopelessness that he's gone through and gotten through compared to other people's, because
sure.
it's different for everybody. But yeah, what Rick has been through is just unimaginable. And to be honest with you, I truly believe it's his mindset.
Yeah,
He is just such a positive thinker, and I think just really enjoys just genuinely giving people that hope that he has,
sure.
because it's just so powerful, so impactful. And it's such his physical his physical challenges are such a inspiring thing to look at when you see him, and his attitude towards it. And it just changes you to see that.
I was literally a couple of days ago thinking about Rick, and I'm like, I, you know, did it take that event for him to realize what was dormant inside of him? And if
Mm,
that's the case, then what things do we all walk around with that are dormant inside of us that we don't even realize
mm,
until something happens for us, not to us, but for
mm,
us? And it doesn't have to be a tragedy, but I just wonder, what are we not tapping into in our daily
mm.
lives of what we can become, who we are, way below the skin.
Yeah, yeah, that's a really deep thought, because I think a lot of it goes to awareness. I mean, I think Rick was Rick before. I think Rick had this in him before, because you hear his story, and after he's literally just been almost burned alive, like he's at the chopper, and his guys are trying to help him in the chopper. And um, he asked, how bad does it look? And the guy, lied to him and said, it's not that bad. And Rick's like, well, I'll never be as ugly as you. Like,
Yeah,
in his most desperate moments,
sure,
Rick still had that humor. He still had this mindset in his head. He was still in there. And I think, those kind of events obviously just change your entire life. But I think it almost comes back to the awareness aspect of, like, if you're not aware of something, how can you focus on it? How can you move towards it? How can you come up with a solution for something? Like,
sure.
we can only come up with solutions for the things we're able to perceive.
Yeah,
And it's about expanding our awareness and realizing, uh, I really believe it's a lot of self work, a lot of deep self work and reflection. Like, I think most of answers that, to life are found within. And,
sure.
might not be just within you, might be within other people.
Right.
But I think it goes back to awareness. And once you become aware, and when I say awareness, I don't mean just like a minute of, oh, I noticed that, that's interesting, and never thinking about it again. I think awareness is a constant state, and it's starts to increase more and more the more aware of something you become.
Yeah, I had a thought the other day, and I'm wondering if you've had the same. Be honest with me. Just generally, man, if the shit really hits the fan for me, bad,
Mm.
I need to call Rick.
Rick would certainly be a great one to call. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's yeah, he definitely he gives you that hope. And yeah, it's hard when it's great when your life is going so great, and you can be like, oh, I'm very, very positive, very, giving hope. But like, when the shit hits the fan, like,
Yeah.
that's when it matters.
Yeah.
Like that mindset, that attitude, and it's like you can get through it. You can always get through it. The minute the only time you lose is when you stop trying.
Sure.
Really.
Wow. Well said. And Rick said some similar stuff last time he was on the air with me. He's an amazing guy. By the way, he's listening this morning. He says that Brian is the Sweethearts and Heroes CEO,
No.
the Chief Efficiency Officer.
Oh, okay. Efficiency officer.
Yeah,
Sure, I'll
yeah.
take that.
And he says none of this works without you. So
Yeah, well, it's crazy, man. I didn't plan on getting wrapped into this the way I did, but like I said, it's just the message grabs you, and once you really dive into it, it changes you. And so, yeah, man, I do whatever is needed because I just know how important this is. And I'm not the one out there like spreading it, but I support the guys who do, and that's just as important to me. I take a lot of pride in it, and I really try to everything I put out, everything I do, I try to make it the best as possible because they're out there every day on the road, sacrificing, their families, sacrificing everything to spread this. And yeah, I can't do any less.
yeah. I'm going to show a picture here on the monitor of two absolute badass warriors.
Yeah, that's my brother Joe.
Tell me about these two cats. One of them is you.
Yep, I'm on the right there. And then Joe, my brother's on the left there. I think he's supposed to actually be on your show in a couple of weeks, but he's the one that his daughter was just born. Yeah, Joe is just yeah. I mean, he's my brother, so I guess I'm biased, but he just brings an energy to things that is infectious, man. Like he's just one of those people that will go 100% all in on what he believes and what he believes is right. And again, he's been grabbed by this message, like we all have, and that's just what he's wanted to commit to. Yeah.
Tell me about this Spartan race that you guys got tangled up in, and who put the pressure on you? Was it Tom?
Well, it's so fascinating. It happened back in I think January of 24 when this whole Spartan Summit event kind of started to snowball. I can't even remember exactly how it started, but me and Joe were supposed to. This was our first race together. Actually, it was actually the easiest one we've ever done. It was in Bethel, New York, and the terrain just wasn't incredibly challenging, and we crushed it. And we're like, oh, this is awesome, and then we did the Beast at Killington, and like, yeah, hardest thing we ever freaking did in my life.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but we were supposed to go out and do field research. We're trying to come up with ways that we can incorporate a lot of the Spartan obstacles and just the concept of resiliency and pushing through something difficult and doing it together. Is just when you go through those kind of things, obviously it bonds you like nothing ever will. And I think that's what we tried to bring and impart in our summit event with these students this last year was just building that camaraderie and sending them back as a unit, because once you start getting, it's like that I think Malcolm Gladwell talks about this, the tipping point. It's like once you get those influencers, those people that can change the culture, you don't need a lot of them. It's just like,
sure,
get your top 10%, and it's like get them unified, moving in a direction, and they will make the change. They will be able to establish those healthy social norms that we talk about all the time, and lead the charge for their school, because they're the influencers. And then that bonding that they did during the summit, the 3 days that they spent doing the leadership stuff, but then this Spartan race, man, it really is like, it's not about, you get there and you're like a little bit intimidated the first time, at least I was.
Little
You see,
bit.
like thousands of these people, and you're like, oh man, how good am I really going to do compared to all of them? But it's about going out there, and it's about overcoming yourself. It's not about comparing yourself to other people. It's about comparing yourself to how good you could be. And it's about just digging deep and making it through, because everybody gets through life differently.
Yeah. Are you going to be doing another one of these soon?
Oh, dude, yeah. Whenever Leon signs me up for one. Oh, you mean the Spartan race?
Yes.
Sorry, I thought you meant the podcast. We did one. We did one. We did a Spartan race. Gosh, I think it was April. And we were planning on doing the Killington one. I don't know if we'll make it though this year because,
Yeah.
dude, this summer is a monster of stuff we're doing. I'm writing like 6 or 7 different classes. Which I have like all the material but it's like we're getting into our new Hope Classroom team up with Thrively this year, and it's just coming out so amazing in terms of the tools that Thrively brings and adds to the content that we have is just incredibly powerful. But yeah, it's been a bit of a beast this summer, so I just haven't gotten in shape to do one of the Killington one. Man, you gotta train for that one, otherwise you're just going out there to brutalize yourself.
Now, did Rick? I mean, did Tom? Was he in the Killington one? Was he in the Beast?
He didn't run the official Spartan Beast, but he was there during we had the kids do a section of that Beast course, and he was there for that. Yeah.
But he didn't actually get on the course.
No, he didn't.
No,
well, I mean, he might have gotten on I think he did the kids one maybe, but I don't know if he did. He didn't do this big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cardio is just not what it used to be, bud. You know?
Dude, cardio, yeah. Although, dude, the dude will do burpees for an hour straight. He'll do like man makers where he'll take the weights and like press them over his head. He'll do pull-ups in between. Like, the dude really is an animal.
He is.
You know, like.
How old is he now? 30?
I'm not going to speculate.
Yeah. Could possibly be over 50, but we don't want to speculate.
I won't speculate.
Yeah, right. And what about did Jen get into the Spartan? Was she part of that?
Jen was instrumental in our summit. I don't think she did the Spartan race though. No.
Who did the Spartan race from Sweethearts and Heroes?
The official Spartan race, it was me, Joe, and Pat. And Pat, talk about being an animal.
Yes.
The dude signs up like with 2 weeks before the race. Like,
what?
He just decided to do it on a whim, man. Like, he was a beast. He really was the MVP in my opinion. Like, me and Joe we'd done like 3 or 4 all summer. We'd been training every day almost. And then Pat just, gets out there and he had a better time than me. It was like, I think he was like 30, 40 minutes faster than me. So,
wow.
Yeah, he's an animal.
Where back to 13 Pillows, I'm guessing Amazon is where we get this book.
Yeah, Amazon. You can find it on our website, but it'll just link you to Amazon.
Okay.
But yeah, Amazon. We got it on Audible, read by this guy who did a great job on it. We got our other books on Amazon as well. A Bridge Named Amos. That's Rick's book we just released last year. Yeah, that one. It's so cool, man. That was one of my favorite ones. We kind of, I kind of like formatted it together, but the artist did all the work. Rick did the writing, man, and it was one of my favorite projects to work on because it just came out so good, I thought, and the kids love it. And
yeah. Tell us just and I know Rick has talked about this, Tom has talked about this, but a little bit more about this book and
Bridge Named Amos.
Yeah, and the meaning behind it. Obviously, this book was penned by Rick.
Yes.
And it was about not only his relationship with his dog Amos, but how that bridged a gap between himself and a new world that he was stepping into.
Yeah. Amos was, we call him the worst service dog ever, but he was the best service dog ever. Worst service dog because all these kids, thousands and thousands, millions of kids have touched the dog. So it's like, it doesn't really work anymore. But Amos was just such a special, such a special friend. And to Rick, obviously, more than anybody, he just, he gave Rick that a bit. Like the big thing that, really was tough for Rick was, it was not being accepted by these kids. And I think eventually through Amos was able to discover, once the kids were able to talk to him and see that he was just a normal guy like everybody else. It was just, the external visuals that was intimidating to kids because, you see it, you never see something like that before. Yeah, you're probably going to be like, whoa, like, but Amos was, the bridge that was able to help, bridge that world with Rick and reconnect with kids again. And completely changed, I'm sure, Rick's life, as you would say, and was probably one of his greatest sweethearts ever. And he's still changing lives with this book. Like, it's just, Amos's legend will live on forever, and it's just a powerful one.
Yeah. Yeah, and also something that if you type in a bridge named Amos, you'll find that on Amazon too.
Yes.
Yeah, something that at first I was like, so this is something that every kid should read. Then I was like, this is something that just everyone should read.
Yep, absolutely.
The thing about you guys, every single one of you that I have met, I've been so blessed. And I say this, thank God that you guys came to my daughter's school and that my wife was there and met you guys, met just Tom and Rick, and came home to me. And I'm so grateful for this because I don't know that.
That's how you heard about
us. That's how I heard about you. And I remember the day where my wife was like, "We had these guys at our school today. You need to have them on the air." Blah 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 blah, and she's going on, and then my kid starts chiming in, and she's like, "Yeah, there was this guy there, and." All of his skin was burned off, and I was eating marshmallows with this UFC MMA
You're like,
fighter.
what the heck
I'm
is
like,
happening?
what the hell is going on here?
That's one of the things we hear a lot, actually, is that we kind of created our coloring books to kind of help bridge that, get it to the kids and have them take it back to the parents and be like, what the heck is going on with this thing?
But then, I got obviously chatting with my wife more about you guys, and she wouldn't let it go. She's like, I'm telling you, you have to get these guys on the air. What they're doing, they're not just whamsy-pamsy going around to a couple of different schools throughout the year. They're like on a crazy schedule. The roots of this is in Vermont. They're going everywhere. They've already visited thousands of schools. This is the message that they're pushing. Blah blah blah. I meet Tom, and that was amazing.
As soon as he was off your podcast, man, he's like, "Oh man, we gotta get with this guy. This is what we gotta do. Partner up with this." And we've just been so blessed that you've been willing to have us on every week and just to talk about this stuff, because it really is the most important things. And there's a lot of people out there really trying to make this happen. Like, our North Country Chevy dealers.
Yes.
We've been working with them for like 5 years now, like spreading this thing. And we just have some crazy awesome plans with them this year. So, man, it's about doing, it's about small community and the impact that you have in your community. And we just have to, collaborate and join together and continue to, work towards sharing this.
Sure. A few days ago, July 3rd, to be exact, my little girl is out in the backyard playing in the river with a friend, splashing around, hollering and yelling and screaming and floating down the river on tubes and just July 3rd, man. I mean, it was just like a perfect day. And while this was happening, I hopped on my phone to check some text messages, and I see the news of what's going on in Texas, in Kerrville, which was just developing at that point. My point.
I'm not actually sorry. I'm not good with the news. What's going on
Yeah,
in
see,
Texas?
that's because you're so busy doing great things. I mean, that's honestly that's the truth right there. But just the horrible flood in Kerrville,
Oh.
Texas, that has claimed over 100 lives now, and the numbers are ticking up. My point is that there's some heavy stuff going on in the world,
Mm,
man. There's heavy stuff, and some of this is getting through the cracks and sticking to all of us. But our youth, and they see this stuff. They hear the political turmoil going on in the world. In addition to whatever stress it is that they're having in their own lives at home or maybe at school or whatever it may be. And man, it's like we just want our kids to live as much of a normal life as possible, to be happy, to have fun, and it's like as this is happening, I'm looking out there at my girl and I'm like, man, I am so freaking lucky
mm,
to be where I am and to have what I
mm.
have and to have a healthy little girl who's playing in the brook and not even aware of all of the heavy headlines that are landing on our eyeballs, landing on our
Yeah.
cell phones, and landing and on our hearts, and frankly, accumulating on our
Mm.
hearts and our mindset. And it's just there's just a lot of bad news going on in the world, brother. You know what I'm talking about?
No, for sure, man. It's crazy. It's the connectedness that we have is the globalization that we have today. Like, it's not just your local problems anymore. It's not just what's going on, like even just with yourself. Like, we're connected to the world, and trying to navigate that for the first time in human history is challenging. Uh, I think yeah, being grateful for what you do have, I think is very, very important.
Yeah.
And trying to it's about coming up with this balance between contributing and staying involved in the world, but how do you really?
Make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, you got to try and make a difference. Like, if you want. Yeah, I just believe that it's a responsibility, a moral obligation to try to make a difference in some way. It doesn't have to be this massive thing either.
Sure.
It could be a very small
Of course.
local thing. But how do you balance that with your own emotional, psychological needs, but and then with your families as well, and your personal close relationships? It's a very tricky thing. It's a tough thing to do, but I think the most important thing is to have these conversations, because if we're not talking about it, we're not going to be able to solve it. We're not going to be able to figure out how to come up with these solutions. And so I think there's something to that with our world today, in that these conversations are, I think, going on more than they have ever before. But it's heavy stuff, and yeah, figuring out how to navigate those heavy things and maintain a an appropriately healthy lifestyle for yourself and your loved ones is
Yeah.
a challenge.
And spend some quality time with those that you love, is especially your kids.
Mm,
It's very difficult for all of us to tap the brakes and stop
mm,
and just sit down. I mean, 2 days ago, I think it was National Go for a Walk with Your Daughter Day or something like that.
nice.
Just take a few minutes and just try to have a conversation. How was your day? What
Mm,
was what was good about it, what was not so good about it. Um, I'm thinking of 13 Pillows here, but it's like, how can we be better tomorrow?
Mm,
And not dwell on what it was today that went wrong, but
mm,
how can you be a better person? How can you help others um, who's going through something that's unfortunate or tragic, or maybe is just not a super positive thing? But how can you
yeah.
get involved and make a positive difference and have that conversation with your kids, man? It's like, I was telling Rick and Tom this. When I grew up, um, there were no cell phones and devices, and I mean, we sat around the dinner table, mom, dad, me, and my brother, and
Yeah.
my mom used to unplug the phone right out of the
Huh.
wall um,
Wow.
during dinner, and it was, that was our time, and we would sit there, and that was our circle, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, like one of the things Tom literally just mentioned, I think to me like last week or earlier this week, he talked about this idea of presence being a moral obligation.
Mm.
And I've been thinking about that lately, and I read this thing in a book I'm reading, and it was about, in your family life, be present. And dude, how distracted are we all today with these phones? Like, we take them out, we put them on the table, we look at them whenever. It's like, are we really even being present?
Yeah,
It's one of the things I struggle with.
sure,
It's like, I've been married for 3 years now, and together with my wife for 5. And it's like, I'll just catch myself. We go on a walk every day,
sure.
with our dog, and we call it our gratitude walk, where we, take time to be thankful for and grateful for things that happen throughout the day. But even me, like, I'll still catch myself zoning out or distracted by this buzz in my pocket or whatever. Like, our presence, man, is so, our attention is so, that's the commodity today, right? Like,
Yeah, man.
that's what they're all vying for on our phone, is our attention. And it's like, dude, you got to take it back. You've got to find presence with the people you are face to face with daily. um and yeah, I've been thinking about that as a moral obligation. How interesting is that?
Wow. And I hope Tom's listening. I was um, in the water the other day, swimming with my kid and goofing around and floating on a inner tube and whatnot. I looked back at the beach.
Hmm.
The number of people that were sitting on the beach like this
It's crazy.
with their phones. All I mean, to see one or two or five is
Right.
one thing, but to see a line of people like from
Dude, you're on the beach and
you're
it's
on
like,
the
yeah,
beach, bro.
well, you go to like a concert or something. All it is people holding their phones up to record the thing. It's like, dude,
Record it
enjoy
right.
the moment.
Record it here.
Yeah,
Record it
record it
here.
here. Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm looking as far left on the beach, all the
Mm,
way as far to the right as I could see. And
mm,
I, I mean, if I had to guess how many, I wouldn't be able to guess how many people I saw, but it was like, wow, man.
yeah. And dude, what's
Damn.
even crazier is, a lot of us, older folks will criticize kids for doing the same thing, and
Right.
yet, dude, you just got to look in the mirror. Like,
Right. But
you've got to start with yourself.
I'm sitting there looking back at the beach and seeing this. And you know what my little girl says to me? Dad, look at that cloud. Doesn't
Huh.
it look like I don't remember what the shape was. Doesn't it look like something? And I look up and I see exactly what she's talking about.
Mm.
And I'm like, damn, there is like a world of difference between what's going on here in 150 yards. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, man. And I think kids really help you unlock that again, because we're born in this world with what we like to call our wonder beam. And perhaps it's like one of the only things we're born with, and we're just, as kids, that's how we learn. We're just
Yeah,
constantly curious, constantly in a state of wonder and awe. But as you get through life, and you just, it becomes routine. It becomes familiar. You lose a lot of that sense, and you don't look up. I don't look up at the clouds anymore and like, oh,
sure.
it looks like that. Oh,
Yeah,
but as a kid, you do that all the
I
time.
know.
And so what can we access and tap back into, you know, with our kids, and not we're not you can't sideline them here. They're not. Tom like has been saying, they're not the future. They're the present.
Ooh,
And what can we learn from them? What can we tap back into that we have lost and that we get bogged down in the day-to-day life and the day-to-day grind, that we got to tap back into this wonder, to this state of awe, because that's what it is about being human, man. That's what it
yeah.
makes it.
I
Yeah.
remember when Tom corrected me and said those words on the air.
Yeah.
They're not the future; they're the present, man.
They're the present, man. And I think, yeah, we've been screwing that up for
Oh
generations.
my
It's like,
God, so
yeah,
much,
yeah.
dude. I'll tell you, man. The thing about Sweethearts and Heroes is I haven't met a team member, a family member of Sweethearts and Heroes yet that I haven't said to myself, no wonder why Tom
Mm,
wants them on his
mm,
team.
mm.
Every single one of you, I'm like, holy crap, this guy has cherry picked the best. All of you. And you all,
Tom's a great leader, man. He's very good at finding out your strengths, and everyone on the team is just committed, and just know that this is what matters, and they're willing to make the sacrifice of their time, effort, energy, and yeah. But Tom's an amazing leader, because he just knows how to pull your strengths out, and he's still. I've worked with him now for 6 years. I've known him longer than that, and he'll still call me, and I talk to the guy every day, probably, on an average, I would say 5 to 6 phone calls, maybe a day, between me and him. Just, sometimes quick ones, but usually at least once a week, if not, once every day. It's like, the first thing he asks you is like, how you doing? And
yeah,
I think
I've
that's what makes
noticed
Tom
that.
a leader. Yeah.
I've noticed that he does that with me too.
Everybody. He does it with everybody. It's the first thing he does. He always connects with you as a human first, man, because he just knows that's what matters.
Right.
And but he's able to do that. Like me, I'm not. I'm just, I don't do that as well. But that's why Tom is who he is, where he is, because he's able to do that.
Yeah.
And it's powerful.
Yeah. I I screwed that up royally the other day when I was in a rush. I came home. I needed something right away. Um, my wife came out of the house and didn't even say hello to her. I was like,
Mm,
"Where's this? Where's that? I gotta go. I'm in a rush." It not only pissed her off,
mm,
but it also hurt her feelings, which
mm,
is harder to swallow.
mm.
And she's right. It's like no matter how busy you are, no matter how rushed you are, just take the time to at least begin by saying, "Hey, hi, how you doing?" and go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, it really changes everything, man. And we do. It happens to me too. Like, I think it happens to everybody. But I think, again, it goes back to the awareness. You catch it, and the more you catch it, the more you're aware about those kind of things. I think the easier it becomes to implement what you want to implement.
Mm,
And yeah, it does go back though to, like, every interaction, man. We can't take it for granted. First of all, you never know when your last moment will be your last moment. And you say that it's a cliche thing, but dude, it's very happened very recently. And it's just a crazy thing to think about if you truly focus on that. But it's hard. You get wrapped up in your day to day, the stress, it's hard to be present, be mindful of that, while at the same time doing what you have to do and making sure your responsibilities are taken care of. But yeah, it's just about balance, and it's just about learning, and it always improves over time, I think.
What's the best way to learn about Sweethearts and Heroes? What's the best way as a parent, as a school administrator, to say, we got to get these guys on board at our school? What's the best way to do that? Sweetheartsandheroes.com?
That's what I would say, man. One of my responsibilities is managing that website, and I've tried to make it this isn't like a pat on the back or anything, but I've tried to make it a great resource for people to go to understand what we do, and I tried to make it a digital kind of like catalog, because we send out so much information to people all the time in different documents and different things, but I've really tried to capture, you know, obviously the full essence of what we do, and we just do so much work, and a lot of the stuff we do applies to so many different things. I mean, it really applies to life and people in general. But yeah, sweetheartsandheroes.com, you can find out all of our services, from our ignition events, which are our foundational assemblies for K through 12, to our circle visits and our circle training, to our youth leadership programs. We got our Brave program, which is our kind of classes, which are year long. And then we also have our student teacher empathy program, which is about, training high schoolers to deliver this message to elementary schools, which has been it's been what we've worked towards. The message from day one has been about empowering students. But the program that we've developed, this past year and a half or so, has just put that into action beyond anything we thought was possible. So yeah, sweetheartsandheroes.com. There's a bunch of forms on all the pages for all the different services. Just contact us, man. Just send us an email. We try to 100% get back to you every time. So yeah, that's the best way to reach us.
What do you say to? And I know that you've kind of already said this, but what do you say to a school that has not discovered Sweethearts and Heroes yet?
Yeah, just reach out to us and have the conversation. I mean, Tom and Winton are you had him on, I think, last week or the week before. Winton, just a fantastic guy to work with. He was a principal at Bay Trail Middle School for, I can't even remember how long. But he's been helping us, and he's the one you'll probably communicate with. But yeah, just reach out to us, man, and get us to come and present our ignition event, man, and you'll be hooked. Like every school we go to, the only hurdles are time and fees, but we always try to work with the school, because we know this message is what matters, and we're not in it for making money or anything. We're in it to get the message out.
You're all a bunch of superheroes, man. Brian, I can't thank you enough for coming on with me this morning.
I can't thank you enough for having me.
And I look forward to seeing you again whenever and wherever that is. I hope to have you back in the studio, but Josiah's going to be with me real soon, and yeah. I always look forward to having you guys with me, man.
Yeah, it was great, JD. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, brother.
All right.
Be well. And
you as well.
Stay well, and we'll talk to you soon.
All righty, man.